If you would ask me, since Hashem our God created the world, why not create a world with complete beauty, perfection, and ultimate peace? There would be no divorces, there would be no sicknesses, and no war. Hashem didn't ask me, as you know, and didn't ask anybody else. But we live in a world that is imperfect. And with today's insights, Yemima Mizrahi, in her book Yemima Mizrahi Speaks, presents us with profound understanding why we live in an imperfect world and what do we do with our imperfections. Hanukkah is a time of year which is really around the time of the Parshat Vayeshev, is an acronym for, and I quote, 8 candles, and the halacha is according to Hillel, which is Hes Neiros V'halacha Ki Beis Hillel. We basically appreciate the insights of Hillel when Hanukkah is approaching us. What profound teaching is Hillel, our sage, teaching us? There's a famous story in Gemara, in Shabbos 31a, where Hillel is getting ready for Shabbat, and there is a pest who comes and asks him many questions. And Hillel is answering all these questions with ultimate patience, ultimate respect. Even though he's trying to prepare for Shabbat, he's washing himself, scrubbing his head, trying to get ready for this holy day. And lo and behold, there is a fellow man trying to ask him all these interesting questions. The first question he asks him is, number one is, why is it that the Persian people have oval-shaped heads? And the answer was, what a great question. That's because the midwives there are not very professional, and they squeeze the heads in a way that causes this ugly shape. A little while later, this fellow man comes again. He asks him, why do the eyes of the Talmud people appear to be squinting? And Hillel patiently answers, because they live in a sandy country. A little while later, again, he comes and approaches the sage Hillel and asks him yet another question. He asks him, why are the feet of the Africans so wide? And Hillel beautifully answers, and wisely answers, that's because they live near swamps. In other words, if they did not have these feet, they would drown in the swamps. Hillel answered this man with his ultimate patience and ultimate understanding that, yes, this man really wanted the answers to questions. Yet, what are we learning from this? How can this help us understand why do we live in such an imperfect world and how to make peace with it? This whole narrative is very strange. The man was really asking Hillel, why did Hashem our God create such an ugly world where create a world where ugliness exists? Why is it that he created a world where imperfection exists? If he created the world, in other words, why isn't it perfect? Why isn't it simply beautiful? Why are imperfections part of the world? Why is ugliness a feature of the world as well? And to answer his question, Hillel beautifully answers, and I quote, everything that your eyes of flesh see as an imperfection is really the secret to these people's survival. If the midwives wouldn't squeeze the baby's head the way they do, if the Talmudim would have wide open eyes, if the Africans wouldn't have wide feet, these populations would not survive. End quote. What we see is an imperfection, an obstacle, perhaps a challenge, be it a difficult relationship. What can it teach us? It can teach us humility and patience. If we have a financial difficulty, what can it teach us? It can teach us to be happy with what we have and to need less in life. If we have a child with special needs, the child can teach us enhanced patience. A partner who we haven't found yet, we haven't married yet, what can that teach us? It can teach us emunah, complete faith in Hashem, that Hashem will grant that person their basher, their destined soulmate at any time. The secret of having this obstacle is actually the reason of our survival. In other words, we need this challenge, we need this difficulty, we need this obstacle in our life because it is the secret ingredient in our life that will eventually create the person you were meant to become, the great person that you were meant to become. Without this challenge, your world wouldn't be the way it's supposed to be. You wouldn't be as great as you were meant to be. And you wouldn't uncover your true potential. You wouldn't become all that you can be. Now, we don't ask for challenges from Hashem. These challenges can be painful, but don't let them break you. Why? Because these challenges are not here to break you. These challenges are here to make you. If you have a difficulty with a relationship, you have a difficulty in your life, you have a difficulty in any area, and we all have challenges, let's embrace that opportunity to get close to Hashem. Let's embrace that opportunity to create a greater you. Where do we learn this from? When we are in pain and we are meant to accept it, who do we learn this from? How? And this isn't easy to do at all. We learn this from none other than David HaMelech, our King David. He showed us the pain that he felt in Tehillim 27:10. He said, "My father and my mother have abandoned me." And he ends with, "But Hashem will gather me in." David HaMelech was extremely hurt when he was abandoned by both his parents. It's tremendous pain. Why? Parents, when we think of parents, the ideal parents, we envision love, warmth, acceptance, understanding, unconditional love. However, when we don't receive that relationship that's meant to happen, what do? What should we do? And David HaMelech teaches us. He said that this relationship of my parents abandoning me actually brought me close to Hashem. He used his yearning to connect to his parents, to capture the opportunity to connect to Hashem with unsurpassed closeness. So in this lesson, we learn, don't despair. As you light the Hanukkah candles, look at the beauty of your life. Every single blessing that you have is icing on a cake. Hashem gave it to you as free, undeserved gifts. And every single challenge is really a disguise to bring you the ultimate greatness, to deliver to you the ultimate great person that you are. Just try to not fall. Try not to fall into despair. Try to be strong, and Hashem will help you. May Hashem help all of us discover our true greatness. May we appreciate the opportunity to overcome our challenges as we discover our ultimate greatness. Leah Abramov, Being and Becoming.